United States, they don't just fight wars, they produce the trailer. With global media control, unmatched military reach, and the almighty dollar, the US shapes not just actions, but perceptions. Hollywood tells the story, NATO enforces the rules, the dollar keeps everyone playing nice, or else. This isn't just empire, it's global user interface control. China, factories, firewalls, and 5-year plans. China builds what the world uses, then monitors who uses it. While Western democracies argue over headlines, China plays chess on a century-scale board. Mass production plus digital surveillance equals global leverage. They're not shouting, they're building, and they'll outlast the noise. Russia, not the strongest, but always the most unpredictable. Energy is their leash. Chaos is their weapon. They don't conquer with tanks, they corrupt with confusion. Cyber warfare, gas pipelines, and disinformation keep you dizzy while they stay dangerous. Russia doesn't need your trust, just your uncertainty. United Kingdom. The empire never truly ended, it just changed offices. Today's British power lives in banks, think tanks, and handshakes behind curtains. London's financial core whispers into global policy. They don't control land, they control capital flow, and that's the real battlefield, Germany. Disciplined, engineered, and understated. While others flex Germany funds, they run the EU quietly, build machines that never die, and create policies that reshape continents. Economic restraint is their strategy. Power, but make it quiet. France. Power dressed in poetry. They seduce the world culturally, then back it with nuclear teeth and military bases spread across Africa. Don't let the baguettes fool you. There's steel under that style. France influences hearts, minds, and, when necessary, airspace. Japan, minimalist but mighty. They don't dominate, they refine, export, and perfect. From tech to culture, they whisper instead of shout, and the world listens. Their power is polished, not loud. Anime today, AI tomorrow. India. Organized chaos with intellectual firepower. They export code, doctors, ideas, and spiritual blueprints. A global diaspora, a tech army, and the wisdom of 5,000 years wrapped in traffic and Wi-Fi drops. They're not rising, they're awakening. Brazil. A sleeping titan drowning in charisma and corruption. They have resources, rhythm, and reach, from minerals to memes. The world wants their music, their meat, and their markets. If Brazil ever organizes, brace for a southern superpower. Canada. Quiet strength with geographic luck. They have everything: oil, water, minerals, and America next door. Their neutrality is their cloak. Their real power? Being underestimated. Nice guys finish extremely wealthy. South Korea. From war-torn to world stage in a single generation. They conquered culture first, now they're exporting chips and tanks. The K-wave hooks your emotions, Samsung makes your tools, and the US military guards the door. Australia. Isolated, wealthy, and watching. They mine everything the world needs, align with every Western alliance, and keep a low profile while watching Asia burn. Their location is a defense mechanism, and their passport is a golden ticket. Saudi Arabia. Oil runs the engine, Mecca runs the soul, and the petrodollar runs the deals. They blend religious gravity with economic leverage, cloaked in royal secrecy. Don't mistake robes for weakness. They own the fuel of modern life. United Arab Emirates, Dubai. Looks like a playground, operates like a power broker's wet dream. Dubai launders influence. Abu Dhabi handles investments. While others tax, they attract. It's not just tourism, it's a clean stage for dirty money. Turkey, the geographic gatekeeper, where continents crash and cultures collide. They control the choke points of Europe's migrant routes and play both sides, east and west. Strategically noisy, permanently essential. Iran. Sanctioned but never silent. They run proxy networks like franchises. Their ideology fuels movements across the Middle East. While others bomb, Iran builds beliefs. They don't aim to win. They aim to endure and influence. Israel. Small land, massive reach. They lead in cyber warfare, surveillance, and diplomacy judo. With nuclear ambiguity and Western insurance, they sit quietly with enormous leverage. Everyone's ally, everyone's headache. Nigeria, Africa's cultural loudspeaker. They have oil, but their true power is population and influence. They run the continent's music scene, online culture, and entrepreneurial fire. Untapped? Maybe, but inevitable? Absolutely. South Africa. Rich below the ground, complicated above it. They sit on rare resources and command political weight in Africa. Despite scars of apartheid and economic imbalance, they remain the gatekeepers of Southern influence. Mexico, the world's manufacturing backdoor. They assemble, export, and feed the US, strategically priceless, culturally magnetic. Border problems? Yes, but also border power. Ukraine, fertile ground, strategic spine. The breadbasket of Europe turned battleground of geopolitics. They didn't choose to be the front line, but they've mastered the global spotlight, and sympathy is now a superweapon. Pakistan, strategic geography plus nuclear deterrence plus resilient diplomacy. They sit at the crossroads of empires and conflicts. Their nuclear arsenal keeps enemies respectful. Their people, battle-tested and globally spread. While others collapse under pressure, Pakistan negotiates it into leverage, with one hand on the prayer mat and the other on a red button. Philippines. Geopolitical location plus labor exports plus cultural adaptability, they're the call center of the world, the front line of the Pacific, and the life of any global party. Overseas workers fund the economy. The West loves their hospitality, and their location makes them impossible to ignore, especially in a US-China standoff. They may laugh often, but they know exactly where they stand. Egypt, control of the Suez Canal plus Arab cultural leadership plus historical weight. They don't just own history, they monetize geography. That canal, global choke point. That culture, revered across the Arab world. They host summits, shape narratives, and remind the world, we were a civilization when you were still hunting rats. Vietnam, manufacturing agility plus war-tested unity plus rising soft power. They've turned survival into strategy, cheap labor, disciplined growth, and a don't mess with us legacy. They outlasted empires and now quietly build their own strength, in silence, on schedule, and with zero tolerance for failure. Thailand, tourism plus regional mediation plus cultural diplomacy. They've weaponized hospitality. Tourism fuels the engine. Buddhism softens the image. They host peace talks, attract capital, and maintain calm while the region wobbles. Smiling is policy, but make no mistake, they play the long game. Spain. European Union access plus Latin American bridge plus tourism plus cultural exports. They may not run empires anymore, but they own the vibe. From architecture to football to Netflix shows, Spain's cultural flow echoes across continents. And while others stress, Spain naps, then profits. Indonesia, population plus natural resources plus Islamic leadership influence. The largest Muslim majority nation you forget is massive. They control shipping lanes, have a young population, and host untapped wealth in minerals and tech potential. They're calm now, but the next storm might wear batik. Argentina, food exports plus cultural capital plus emotional diplomacy, tango, steak, and political theater. They seduce the world while negotiating IMF debt in the same breath. Charm is strategy, crisis is tradition. Even when their economy crashes, they never lose their influence or their rhythm. Greece. Geopolitical position plus EU veto power plus cultural soft power. They hold history in one hand and geography in the other. Their ports matter. Their voice in Europe matters more than their size suggests. When the world forgets, they remind it, without us, you wouldn't even know how to argue. Bangladesh. Textile manufacturing plus population density plus climate adaptability. From poverty to powerhouse, they turned sweatshops into supply chain dominance. Every Western brand is stitched with Bangladeshi hands. They hustle hard, adapt fast, and stay standing, even when the floods come. Poland, military buildup plus EU leverage plus Eastern European leadership. They're no longer the buffer zone, they're the bracing wall. Pro-NATO, anti-Russia, and fiercely independent. They've turned old scars into strategic value, and their voice in Europe is no longer quiet. Malaysia, multicultural bridge plus regional trade plus Islamic finance hub. A hybrid nation that thrives on balance. East meets West. Islam meets capitalism. They host the money, manage the culture, and play nice until they don't need to. Ethiopia. Hydropower dominance plus African Union headquarters plus regional resilience. They've never been colonized, and it shows. They control water in a drought-stricken region and political influence via continental diplomacy. Their internal issues are loud, but so is their potential. Qatar. Gas dominance plus Al Jazeera, soft power plus strategic US alliance. They're small in size, massive in leverage. Gas keeps Europe warm, Al Jazeera shapes minds, and the US military base, insurance. They bought the World Cup, flexed their influence, and reminded everyone, money talks louder in silence. Norway. Oil wealth plus sovereign wealth fund plus global trust. They struck oil and didn't screw it up. Now they quietly own pieces of your favorite companies. They fund global aid, stay out of drama, and run their country like a savings account with mountains, power by patience. Switzerland. Banking secrecy plus neutrality plus institutional trust. They never pick sides. They hold everyone's money. Wars come and go, but Switzerland stays rich, clean, and armed with chocolate, watches, and legal discretion. Their real army, lawyers, and vaults. Kazakhstan. Mineral wealth plus Central Asian crossroads plus quiet deals with giants. They sit between Russia and China and leverage both. Uranium, oil, rare earths, no one talks about them because they're too busy doing business with everyone. Singapore. Trade mastery plus clean governance plus global corporate magnetism. No natural resources, no problem. They built influence with ports, policies, and professionalism. Asia's Switzerland, but with more surveillance and better food.